We are live and now on the airs.
Hey, folks.
On the Gossip Hour airwaves.
Hello.
We're here with Pico. We're here with Alex. We're here with Air. And we're here with me, another Alex.
Is
This
that
week, what are we talking about this week?
I think we're gonna
What is the
go
name of this
over.
episode?
Follow the leader is what I call this one.
haha.
I like corn, that's for
Good.
sure.
I was trying to understand the background image. Now I do.
Uh-huh.
They don't tell me the themes of the episodes until after we've started.
I don't even know the themes while I'm doing them.
We're gonna be talking about the communities we have here and leadership within and around these different communities and sub communities, and we're gonna be looking at some feedback from a response form sheet that we sent out to the Discord.
We're gonna be
See what people's.
we're gonna be
Yeah,
talking
go
to
ahead.
people in our waiting room that also have their thoughts, and we're gonna try having a very conversational topic this week with people that want to join us.
So
We-
please join the waiting room if you want to try to chat today.
So don't feel bad if
Yeah.
we rotate you in and out because we're gonna try to get as many people as we can tonight. Right, and we'll have a video up soon enough. As I get
What
this
game
up.
are we playing tonight, Pico?
Um,
Pico's back in the gamer seat.
Oh, that worked.
it'll be a surprise
Okay.
The surprise!
because
I swear if this involves clowns.
It's McDonald Land. Yeah.
Please stop saying clown. The algorithm will not let me escape its grip.
um, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring in. We saw Frank was the first one in our waiting room, so I'm gonna bring him in for now. Hello,
Howdy,
Frank.
friend. You are on mute currently.
Our often
Are often
extra
unmuted
host,
guests.
also unmuted.
Yes, Frank, I also don't know if you know that we are on the air presently, so I don't know if you're
Yeah,
watching on Twitch. So
I am. Yeah, no, I am.
okay.
Cool.
Hello.
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 So, leadership rules. What's your take on them? We asked a bunch of questions today in a forum. I'm gonna read them off real quick so everyone can gauge what we're kind of talking about and where our headspace was. Our first question was, do you have any feedback or criticism toward our podcast? Do you have feedback or criticism for how we can improve the VGM Vinyl for All community? What do you dislike or like about the Discord server? What are your thoughts about the Video Game Vinyl Collectors Facebook group? What do you like or dislike? And could you see yourself interested in moderating either of those groups? Why or why not? So take us away with some of your thoughts, Frank.
Oh, me? I'm going
You're
first.
going first. Yeah,
What the?
I got people to go through, Frank.
I don't want to go first. Get
All
back to
right.
me.
All right. As I put Frank on the spot and leave myself open, Alex, what do you think?
What? Give me a more pointed question. What do I think about one of these questions in particular, or which
Um,
one?
what do you think about the answers? You read them.
I did not read them all. Oh my god,
there's hundreds of responses.
there are some wordy motherfuckers in this this Discord.
I thought there was a bunch of good shit.
Paragraphs.
There
I
There
think like
are, yeah.
there was one
And
side of people who was like heavy-handed, like just sucking dick hardcore, and then there was the opposite, which was like we hate the Discord. You got all burn in hell. But then there was like that middle, and there was like a super good information in the middle. I felt.
If you could be a moderator in either one of these, would you?
Me?
No. Well, you're Bud. No. Alex.
I don't like. Yeah, it does feel a little strange being the only non-mod as hosting the podcast, but also yeah, it seems like it could be a it seems like I already spend a lot of time here, and I don't know how much more time I would spend as a mod, you know?
Yeah.
Even though you all say you do a whole lot of hands-off moderation, still, you know, it's an
People were
intimidating
saying
prospect.
how they enjoy like the hands offness, but also trying to keep things moving towards the right direction as far as
Uh-huh.
how a conversation should be held without kind of being a total asshole or having things steered in the right direction, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Being hands off is an interesting concept to me. Um, like even if I'd say generally we all are for the most part, it still takes a fair amount of um, constant attention, nonetheless, to make sure things are in such a state where being hands off is like a good and healthy place to be. I feel like I don't know if you guys get that impression from it sometimes, but I mean you could just be hands off and say fuck it and have no care of the consequences. But you know, yeah, I don't know. I think it's an easy community to have that mindset with for the most part. I feel like
Yes,
it moderates itself pretty well.
I
True.
guess I would have to say, um, so since everyone else here, well, Frank being an exception as well, but everyone else here is a mod in this voice chat right now, or an admin. How do you all like keep an even hand moderating? Because like I know other people in the Discord will kind of let things go easy on people they like and maybe be a little harsher on people they don't. And so like how do you keep that sort of keep keep an even-handed approach
Hmm.
to when it comes to someone who is kind of disliked in the Discord but is
I
not
have rules
really
in my head.
doing anything that anyone else isn't doing, you know?
I have rules in my head that if they don't break, then I can't do anything about it. Like, i.e., example, Tyler Walter. I wouldn't ban him just because he wasn't breaking any rules, even though he was being a little shithead. But basically, if you're not doing anything homophobic, if you're not doing anything racist, and you're not breaking boot rules, then I'm not your fucking parent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you
Like,
came to his defense, and I think it's a valid thing to bring up is how much people were like, why is this guy here? Um, and you as the admin were like, there's no reason to ban him right now, even though people were getting pissed off.
And I think the why is, something for that person to
Hmm.
decide, themselves and to some extent the community. I mean, I certainly, I think I think that's a lot of the like sort of philosophy of the Discord, like as far as moderating goes, is like set the precedent that allows people to, you know, make their own expectations and sort of collectively enforce those. And I think in a lot of ways, some of the feedback that we were receiving in comparison to like the Facebook, for instance, is like regarding like price copying in for sale posts.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like for the most part we have a very like as mods have an outright strict definition of like you can or can't do this at these prices or what have you. But you see people say there is certainly a huge difference in what seems to be allowed in the Facebook group versus here. To the point where most people would say they seem it's prices in general are more well moderated in here. It feels like a less scalpy environment.
Right.
But I think part of what's cool is the precedent is kind of set by the community themselves on how they respond or react or whatever to a listing someone makes. And that's not always going to be cohesive with what every single person agrees with, but I feel like for the most part people are generally pretty happy with that, and
Yeah.
and how the market is moderated. So it's interesting to see what a hands-on versus hands-off style sort of allows, and I think the collective action and opinions is pretty positive in that regard here.
What is the Discord admin staff's responsibility towards? You said, Pika said you're not our parent or anything like that, but what is your responsibility towards someone? I mean, like, you stepped in when Tyler was getting bullied, but like that sometimes happens to not that degree, but a little close.
Yeah.
Okay, so like this kind of came up in the questions too. Like a lot of people had like dogpiling issues and a lot of trash city issues, like people trashing on stuff for like petty reasons. And I think it's just a misconception about Trash City. Trash City is like Lord of the Flies. And if you think about it in that aspect, no one is in a positive position in it. So like people that are dogpiling are showing their true colors. People that are like jumping in just to be mean, they don't know that they're outing themselves. And people are making note. Trash City is a perfect example for you to show your true colors. And what people don't understand is I want people to do that shit. I want them to like let loose and like show who they really are so we know, instead of finding out later. Like there's a ton of like really active members who like in Trash City just are like, I know like your true colors, like I got you. So that's Trash City. And in that regard, like I want people to go wild and get crazy because it's serving its purpose. I'm like I say this all the time, I'm no one's parent. So like I would rather you guys police yourselves most of the time. Like, just speak up. I always encourage speaking up. Whatever. People complaining, Pony Mora scalping, whatever in this place. Just say something. Like, if you got an issue, just speak up about it. Like, who cares? There was a lot of fundraiser issues, which, like, in the things, like, which I can not agree with more with that stuff. But, like, once again, like,
Say
we
something. That's what it
encourage you to
comes
say
down to.
something. Like, we set up this whole space where anybody's voice is valid, including someone like Tyler Walter. And you have that space to just say something. And if you do, guaranteed 100% of the time that someone else is feeling like you are.
And I feel like people are scared of that dog pile, to the point of not speaking up on a something that they feel strongly about, and they just kind of let it go. Like, you see something and you, instead of like posting in one of the verified channels, which is what Trash City is for anyone who doesn't know,
I love Trash City. I'm
instead
not
of
gonna.
posting in there, you go to a DM, which I guess would cause less conflict, but at the same time, you're not going to see anything change from that. And you might just stew in talking about that. So
It's the darker side of modding, I guess.
mhm.
We'd just rather it be roses. That's why we have Love City.
I'm just here to make emojis and to be your mom, I guess.
And it's probably a fine line to try and observe the differences between like legitimate hardline criticism versus outright bullying. It's not always cut and dry.
Especially the larger a community gets, I feel like, the whole mob mentality or dogpiling thing can happen fast and really derail a valid conversation or criticism that people are having, and maybe even totally take it off the rails of what was intended with it in the first place. On that note, I think
Does that answer your
we
question, Frank?
maybe
I don't think anyone's answered yet.
What was the question?
Okay. What's the first question?
Oh, the actual survey questions?
Is that's what I'm answering?
I mean, we can go from there. Do you have any feedback or criticism for the Discord?
I mean, I don't spend as much time on the server as I would like to. So I'm not like super aware of what's always going on in here. It's not this isn't a criticism at all. But it's just a little bit tough for me to follow sometimes.
Right.
Just because there's so much activity going on. I think in the last couple of months I've sort of found the channels that I like checking up on and stuff like that, and it's been a little more manageable for me.
Yeah.
But I think when I first joined the server, it was like my head was spinning. Like I
There
was like,
so many channels.
I've never been in a server like this before. But that's not a criticism. That's just an
Yeah.
observation. But yeah, I think to someone who is just joining, they may
It's
go
very
through
overwhelming.
through the same sort of thing where they're like, I don't know where to start, and what are all these emojis, and oh my god, I
Who
don't
are these
understand
people?
anything.
That does tend to be the main comment I hear from people who maybe I talk to on Facebook that I know but who aren't in the Discord. There was like, yeah, I'd love to, but it's just a little too much for me. And
Yeah, and
I felt the same way when I first joined the Discord too, because I hadn't really used any, even like any Discord servers, and I was just like, damn, Discord is fucking crazy. It's like you can't. It's just one long thread. It's like a pain in the ass
Yeah.
to search. Like you miss something for a day, and you're just like they're not catching up. And I was like, this is a lot, man. But I think that comes with time too. You get used to the format a little bit more.
yeah, absolutely.
I wish it was easier to say just like you don't have to make sense. We'll take whatever you want to talk about and talk about it. It doesn't even always have to be the right channel. And I guess that's kind of our moderation of
And I
the
think
lack
that's the
of-
best approach, honestly. At the end of the day, I think that's the best approach, because if you're policing too much, people will turn on you instantly, and like it won't be good.
yeah.
Yeah, for real. Who wants to put? That sounds like so much effort.
I mean, I've
Like,
seen
keeping
plenty
track
of
every
servers.
channel.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of servers that are run that way. In fact, this is probably one of the only servers I'm in that isn't ran that way, and it's so much more not like it's so much nicer to be in, where you don't have to worry about staying on topic all the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
It helps the
that's my
natural
main
flow.
issue. Yeah, that's my main issue with the I guess you could call it main video game
Transitional.
vinyl server.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you mean
the
like the
official?
Reddit server?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
We're a Reddit
I mean
server.
that's like that place is like the complete opposite of this one. Which is why I love that this one exists.
Yeah, it almost feels like the commercial version of ours. If that makes any sense.
But yeah, I guess just to answer the question, I mean, it's not a criticism. I just think like it could feel a little bit alienating to someone who is a newcomer, but that kind of comes with the territory, I guess. I mean, it's like it's kind of inevitable, because then, I mean, like the server is growing every day, and you know.
We're growing, and it's always kind of evolving, and memes are happening, and I get
Exactly,
people can feel
yeah.
alienated from those as well, and it's just like sometimes there's really nothing behind it. Why is Tom Cruise? It's classified. That's it, and we just went from there. You can post a Tom Cruise emoji, and everyone will just be like, "Yeah, Tom Cruise." Or
We're
you can
very
po-
pro Tom Cruise
Yeah.
server.
You can post the emoji of me doing that little thing with my hands, and people will just be like, "Yeah, that's a conversation." And so it's just like, I wish I could take the hand of new people or people who don't know how to use the Discord and just say, "It's okay, just come in, have fun, and try not to think about it too hard."
I mute
Well
every
said.
channel. That's how I deal with it. I'm literally the server owner, and I have every single channel muted. I'll only see it if you tag me. That's it.
Yeah, someone
that
did
for
ask
hands off?
to have some sort of like icebreaker
Yeah.
event. I don't know.
And that's a
And I
that's
do.
a
That
I
would
know
be
we
decent
do
idea.
the movie
interesting.
nights. We do the movie nights sometimes, which that's anyone can get it. Like you, that is your frame of reference is watching a movie together. So I sometimes feel like that can be pretty good. But I know we don't really do too many game nights,
Yeah.
but
We'll
I'm
have
never
to
in
try
the
to figure
unverified
something.
channels.
it also
I don't
seems
need
like
that
social night is after the podcast too. There's a lot
Yeah,
of people
there is
hanging out.
that.
And you have the
Um,
introduction channel.
That's a
We
nice
do.
one. I like for a while that was pretty active, and we got a lot of cool stories.
We just gotta kind of, I guess, work on helping everyone out and feeling like they're welcome. A thing we kept seeing was things feeling a little clicky, which is like, there's nothing you can do against that because that's just how people work. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just a matter of us all trying to work together to make a more welcoming environment.
And the
is what I
the other
think.
platforms are like that too. I mean, the other servers and the the Facebook group. I mean,
Yeah.
it's clicky too.
Which is a
gotta-
great segue. What are your thoughts on the Facebook video game vinyl collectors group?
Do you
Okay,
mind if I ask-
go to someone else.
do you mind if I just ask a question about the Discord real quick?
Yeah, let's bring someone else in just to
Okay.
get some more of our viewers.
Yeah.
Now let's get our buddy Joey.
Hot
Okay.
Joey, coming in the chat.
Oh, geez, let me mute the Twitch.
All right, I got a question real quick for the admin team. Obviously it gets clicky because a lot of the same people stick around. We form like in jokes and all this sort of stuff like that. But you all want to be welcoming to new members. But like, how large would you want this server to be? Because I feel like that is a good thing to be mindful of. Like, what is the audience we're trying to reach on this server? Like, do we want 5,000 like is on the Facebook group?
Just hit 1,000.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is it in the
10,000,
name?
20,000.
For all. It's
Every
for all.
single member.
Yeah, all.
Like whoever wants to come. I don't have a number in my head as far as how many people you
Anti-booters,
want.
booters, everyone's invited.
You
Yeah,
wanted
seems-
wanted like an anti-booter as a mod, right?
Hell yeah! I actually put a post in the other Reddit. This is how dumb I am. I put a post in the other Reddit being like, "Who wants to be our like anti-booter mod in either new Discord?" And like the fucking rude shit that people said to me was insane.
I
You're
forget
hired.
that subreddit exists. Seriously.
They call you a dipshit, and you're just like, you're hired. The job's yours.
Yeah, I forget about the Reddits in general, including our own. I think I posted last, and I just said I found a Zelda record at a yard sale.
I'm
I'll
curious if if members have an opinion on that, like if they prefer it to stay at the sort of size it is and keep it kind of
That
insular
is a
from
good
that
question.
point, or like get larger if people wanted to say something
Yeah,
in the Twitch
'cause-
chat, and maybe Joey could chime in on that.
Yeah, I would love to chime in on that. I mean, the natural growth of the Discord is nice to see, especially when people are active members. Like we still, it seems like at least once a month we get 1 or 2 active members join or server boosters that are pretty cool people. So I haven't seen the trend, like how long it took to get to 1,000. But I mean, screw it. I mean, if it's gonna keep being cool people joining, let them all join. There's no cap. Then that is no cap.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't view there being like a critical mass that would become like unsuitable, especially for how big the hobby is at this point. I don't personally feel like it would ever reach a point where it's just like impossible to even want to be in here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tyler brought up something good in
5,000
chat.
people. The amount of mods we would need. Holy shit! Joey, you be a mod. Frank, you be a mod. McConkey would be a mod. I'll just be handing out mods to everybody.
Oh God, yes.
You
I
would
heard
love
it.
to
If
have
you
that
want to be a
role.
mod, get more people to join.
Yeah, someone did. Fish Helmet said, it doesn't matter if it grows, but it seems like for every 1 or 2 new active people, we lose another 1 or 2 just because it's such a commitment.
Yeah,
I think that's
that's
definitely
a hard thing to try to figure out. It's just like because it's so active. If you miss a day, you're like, oh, what are we talking about? What is going on? But I've also found that it doesn't matter too much sometimes.
Yeah, if you miss a day, you just come back the next day and start brand new. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to really stress catching up on every single channel, and there are days that you get home like, jump to new. I
Yeah.
don't.
Mark
If
all
anything
as red.
happened, sometimes I'll just be like, hey, did anything happen that I missed today?
Is there
Maybe you
anything
guys
in
should
the
post
best
do
an
of?
a.
That's right.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say maybe you guys should do a TLDR channel.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't
maybe
know.
some sort of like news.
Yeah.
I don't know
gotta
who.
go.
I don't know who would update it, but
Yeah,
Like in the Discord today, you could just catch up really quick.
yeah.
This member was a shitball. We trashed this person. This fucking
Most-
eBay listing got posted.
Most reacted posts could
yeah,
all
yeah,
get
there should
put
be
in
like a
one
best
place.
of for all, but just most
Someone
reacted.
just collecting minutes for the Discord.
so whoever wants to do that, DM
Yeah,
the
that's
team.
our-
I'm
That's our
sure
next mod.
someone
There's
would
gotta be
want
someone
to
who's
do it.
active 24/7. There's got to be a member who's literally reads everything and never gets to fuck off this thing.
Looking at you, Ernie.
Got a new first-time chat viewer. They said,
Get him in here.
I don't know if they're in our voice chat, but I'll read what they wrote. They said, I will say that the general access channels are like already too much for me, and we're super intimidating as a new person. Getting verified and access to those channels is what made me love the Discord and all that. And
I
like
will.
those channels really do kind of solidify what's going on, and like
Mhm.
it brings you into the family kind of.
Yeah,
That's
that's
true.
just, like kind of the nuts and bolts of the Discord. General stresses me out. Like all the general chats. They're just like it's just too much for me. Like
Yeah,
on
there's
top
like
of everything else.
24 chats, and then the verified channels are 3 channels. So it's like, okay, I could just hyper focus on those ones, and kind of get where I need to be a lot of the time.
I am
I
curious.
think for like new members who aren't verified, you just pick 1 or 2 channels and you keep those unmuted. Like
yeah,
an easy one is like the Talking the TV one, the TV channel and the manga channel.
Books,
If you like
comics, and
One
manga,
Piece, like,
everybody.
You're bound to make fucking friends.
Yeah.
If you got
Yeah.
manga, there is a whole squad. And like people say clicky, but what it's the Discord is like only certain people are in certain channels. So like there's gonna be like little teams of people who are in different channels, and you just gotta
Yeah.
meet them all.
and you'll
I love
eventually
hanging out with
DM
Tape Team.
people, and they'll become your friend, and like it's easy. It's easier than you think, but it's also getting over that hump, I'd say, of meeting people.
Yeah,
in the
you definitely need a
Discord.
little bit of time to survey
Who
the
do you wanna
lay
be
of the
friends
land.
with, I guess, and that can
Yeah.
be difficult.
Or you just,
But we
say,
were-
"Oh, I love
were-
One Piece.
Segueing into talking about the Facebook group
We were at one point.
at one point, yes.
What is the thought on the Facebook and their way of moderating, and like, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I'm not.
I
'Cause-
mean, it is almost the diametric. It is almost like diametrically opposed to the moderation in the Discord,
Mhm.
which provides a very nice and stark contrast,
Eh.
and really highlights the similarities between the groups. I think.
And real
Like-
quick, for everyone in the waiting room, we're gonna plan on getting to you, but I think it's just nice for us to get this settled. I don't want everyone to think we're gonna keep you waiting forever. Just wanted to put that in there.
Mhm.
I think the differences in the communities are just the the Discord and the Facebook in general are good to have as well for other
Mhm.
people, because there are certainly people who are overwhelmed or are maybe not looking for that sense of community, or even if someone's here, it doesn't necessarily see it as like some communal base. It could still just be more of their speed for
Right.
how they want to be to interacting with people. So I think like even obviously I'm more inclined to the Discord generally,
Mhm.
but I think it's good that those things kind of exist in tandem.
Right. I mean, main is pretty easy to digest,
Yes.
as opposed to the never-ending posts in a Discord of 1,000 members now. So that has that on it. So and there's 5,000 members. I don't know how many are active, but still, that's a lot of people to try to take care of.
That's a good question though. How many people are active in the main? Like it really feels like 50 people.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I think Pico and I were in Maine when there was only like less than 100
My
people.
God.
Yeah. I think I joined at like 250 or something like that.
Wow.
Even then, that's
And I
so
only
small.
joined because my friend was like, dude, all these fucking assholes are in this group. Like, you gotta get in and talk shit. And I was like, hell yeah.
That's up my alley.
I was like, fuck yeah. Because I had been avoiding it. He's like, you gotta join this video game group. Because I'm the one who showed him Moonshake and all this shit. And he's like, I found this Facebook group. Like, you gotta get in on it. And like, I just avoided it until like something powered off.
Someone, Catnip Bidness in the chat said, what's the definition of active? I'd say just if you post ever.
If someone knows you.
Getting that little icon next to your name, whatever it
them.
is.
Like,
Oh yeah.
I think
what
a
are
lot
they?
more
Top
people.
fan.
I think a lot more people are active in Maine than people realize, though, because
Mhm.
there are a lot of people who just don't post threads and they only comment
Comment
on things.
for sure.
I mean, I do that most of the time in Maine.
Yeah. Starting your own thread on main is such a not a commitment, but it's like stressful figuring out like, okay, how do I initiate something? Like, am I gonna show something off? Am I gonna try and start a discussion?
The Sisyphean task.
Yeah. I will say one thing about the moderation between the Facebook and the Discord, the difference in hands-off versus kind of hands-on in some cases, is that the Facebook group has been around for X amount of years now. Like, I remember what Pico saying, it was just full of
Seven?
racist, like, homophobes years ago, and there's been a years-long evolution of how that should be handled. And then Discord comes in, and it's like, oh, well, we're like a subset of like-minded people that are not going to put up with that kind of stuff, and that stuff kind of gets weeded out quickly now that we're in the year 2021. So the lay of the land is a little bit different for where this server started and where their Facebook started to where we are now. But I like both ways are fine. Everybody's more chill here. I like hanging out here more because it's more of a hangout space versus
Yeah.
Facebook is, let me post something on the wall, let me post something on the wall, post something else on the wall.
Make a snarky comment.
Yawn
It's
react.
even hard to like comment on some of these things anymore. It's just like, oh, nice. That's nice. How about that?
That's
Yeah. You
If-
hit a
if
point
you're-
where all you can say is, that's really cool, nice, and then you can't say, oh, I got mine in like this. It's like, you don't want to make it about you.
Now, when I say nice, I really mean it. It's become a much
Yeah.
more sparse comment on my part, but when I mean it, I mean it. I'm like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
okay.
that is nice.
You mind me bringing in someone else?
Yeah.
Take me out, take me out.
I believe Kimberly
Okay.
is pretty has a little bit of a conversation starter type posting on Maine, so maybe she would have some
Get
insight
Kimberly in
on. Yeah.
Get her in here.
Hey there.
Hi.
Kimberly,
You
you are
around?
live.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm mobile.
And we can hear
Uh,
you, and we're good.
Hell yeah. Let me pause Katamari.
Yeah, I didn't notice you'd made a post today, and then I kind of like looked through it. I saw you kind of do those conversation starter like question posts
yeah,
on Maine sometimes.
that's how I stay active. Cause I don't like this doing show offs. I just like doing the conversation starters, and I like compiling my like game collection into it. So that's my way of staying active, I guess. But you spelled my name wrong in chat too. But yeah, that's my way of staying active. And I also like commenting with everyone under there. Like, I discovered some games today that I didn't know the soundtracks of, and listened to a few of them, and I liked them. And then found a lot of like-minded people with Harvest Moon, which I didn't think was a thing.
Mhm.
And yeah.
I guess what would be something that like a reason to post to main versus posting in the Discord? Like is there a certain atmosphere in main that
I think
I feel like I need too much validation in the main. Like, I post something and then I'm like, I need a lot of likes on this shit. And if I don't get anybody if Steph doesn't like it, I'm crying.
Yeah.
I was kind of following on like at the hour mark. I was like, how many likes do I have on this?
It's all. I mean, that's just Facebook in general. You want those likes, and then you see some of the posts in main. You're just like, well, I at least want it this amount. And
Yeah.
You're hoping your post isn't
And
just
also-
kind of a dud.
Yeah, and I also think that doing posts like that helped me find more people to talk to and be friends with, I guess.
Yeah.
Because Discord, it's the same people that I talk to pretty much every day, but
Yeah.
you like
but-
meeting new people?
yeah, it's kind of nice, and then
Yeah, absolutely.
all that fun stuff. Not as many memes in Facebook. Not that I don't mind them, but
I mean, we had Tom Cruise in Maine, and then that kind of got deleted as
That's where it started.
Yeah.
oh, did it
Yeah,
really?
they got-
John Post.
there was a
yeah.
label that actually said that if he saw someone do it that was in the group, he was gonna kick them out.
Oh my god.
Well, I think at first it was really obnoxious when
Yeah.
people were using it non-ironically, you know.
Yeah.
That was just when the Discord was getting big enough to like become a problem.
Oh,
Or trash.
I had a thing about the Facebook group that I would change that I thought of.
Ooh,
Ooh, I know.
let's hear it. Some juice.
Maybe like an etiquette kind of thing, especially with like boots and stuff, because you get a lot of the people who are gimme, where do I find this? You got to tell me, that kind of thing, and it's like I had to kind of stumble around and learn that.
And the problem with that is Facebook like hides these threads unless they're active. Even the announcements are hard to find. Like, you have that master thread about Ozeki. You have that announcement about Select Start. But
Yeah.
even when you join the group, all those are really long posts, so it's hard to digest. So
Maybe it could be like, when you join a new group, it's under the rules where you have to answer
Yeah.
questions like, read this file. What is, like, accept that you know this.
But at the same time, I've learned so much that people just will not read things and just be like, I'm
That's
here,
true.
check. Thank
Or
you.
like, what information is getting leaked in that document? There's always gonna be someone like,
True.
pissed. Like, you're giving a roadmap to the boot scene. Like, no guides allowed.
What roadmap? I stumbled around
Not
blindly.
it's not
Yeah.
a story that happened to me at all.
If there's one thing you can count on in any online community like this, is that people will not read the rules.
Absolutely.
So that's
1000%.
such a losing battle, unfortunately.
I'm the rule reader, though.
At least we found her. We found the one person reading the rules.
Efforts are not in vain.
I have a
If it's Facebook, all you have to do is say I agree, and people still just put no response.
Yeah. What was that, Frank?
I was gonna say I have a legitimate question. Like,
Yes.
how do you find master threads in the Facebook group?
You don't.
Are
Unless
you
search for it.
on mobile
I guess
or
you could
on desktop? If you're on
Most of the
desk-
time I'm on mobile, but I use desktop sometimes.
I
I think
know
it's
on
the
desktop if you-
featured.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a featured tab, and I think that's everything that's been stickied.
I just
Oh, so they
Search.
actually are.
Yeah,
but
there is a way to like sticky
Huh.
threads.
But
I
threads
don't know how
like
accessible
the
it is on mobile.
Ozeki one.
Because I
always
you'd have to
wondered-
know about it to search for it.
Exactly. That's what I was just about to say. Like, I always wondered how new newcomers would know that this stuff even exists. Like,
We need someone to accept the burden and talk to every single new person and explain everything that's going on.
Yeah, good welcoming committee.
I thankfully had someone who pulled me in and was like, "Hey, don't be
Yeah.
thirsty. Take it easy. Here you go. Be
Yeah.
free."
It's a good project everyone should take on. Try to introduce one new member. to the
Sponsor a
team
newbie
at some
week.
point.
Everybody
Yeah.
sponsor
Oh,
a
that
Go
newbie.
is
talk
cool.
to a newbie. Everybody in the
Really
chat,
should.
make sure to pick
it's-
up someone you see and
It's
invite them
almost
to
like
the
an
Discord.
instant way to make a friend too. Like everyone I've tried to help out, like get acclimated to someone I talk to quite a bit in the scene at this point.
All right, real quick. Thank you to Kimberly and Frank for joining us real quick. I think
Thank you.
we're gonna take them out for a bit, and we're gonna hear a word from our sponsor.
Yes.
This episode has been brought to you by our favorite fast food chain, McConkey's.
Come and see what everyone's talking about and try the new Cameron chicken sandwich at McConkey's. Juicier, tender, and crispier than ever before. Tonight, our podcast viewers can try the new sandwich for free with the purchase of 69 Crappy Meals. McConkey's, over 420 billion served.
Thank you so much to McConkey's for
Yeah.
sponsoring.
New week, new sponsor. We can't hold a sponsor, but that's okay. I think we're on a good spree. I think
Yeah.
our sponsorships are only getting better.
Budget
the
went
money
through
is
the
rolling
roof.
in.
McConkey's
Yes.
with all those locations. I mean, you can't beat that. All right,
We
bringing
got a
two
Sunday
new.
Fun Day special
Oh.
too.
Yeah, let's. We have Percy in our live room.
Is it
Yeah.
me now?
Percy,
Certainly can be.
Oh, well, hello. How's it going?
great. We just got so much money from a sponsorship, and I couldn't feel better.
Yeah, it is billions served. That's you.
That's so
400, 420 billion.
billion. That's so many.
That's a lot of billions.
So
But
you've kind of heard our conversation so far, I think.
Yeah.
Did you have any takes that you were thinking of as we were chatting about it?
like takes. Well, yeah. I suppose I did. But I'm really high and I have no jumping off point.
Oh, okay.
Grab me really fast.
I'm gonna need. All right, we need a little direction then.
Just discover.
Between
It's sort of like, yeah. Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead, Eric.
Richard.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say just like about general like maybe structure of the Discord as it is currently. Maybe how you feel it compares in terms of what the community allows or the way it's moderated and pros and cons of either.
Oh, well, I think the Discord is moderated fairly well. You've got a fair amount of people on the team, I should say. And I don't know. In my response to that question, I basically said, I mean, there's an air of impartiality, which I did note a lot with like the way that Tyler was kind of dealt with kid gloves a lot of times, which, wasn't like a bad thing. I thought that was actually, it's good because, you don't want, if you're the mods, you're not supposed to be the ones, dogpiling, I guess. And I don't know if that's even the right word, but
Well, I mean, a lot of people were using that term, dogpiling, and like,
Love saying that.
yeah, and like we get it, we know what's going on, but it's just like at the same time, like Pico said, we're seeing what's going on and how people really feel, and I guess if you're that easily said to dogpile, then that's just kind of who you are.
well,
It-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the dogpiling is just, natural flow of the conversation where somebody just keeps digging a deeper hole. So I wouldn't really call it dogpiling, to be perfectly frank. But as far as that goes, I mean, like you say, there's about 1,000 people in there, but the conversations are active pretty much all the time. And in what, like 40 channels or so?
Something like that.
Hopefully a little less now.
Yeah, hopefully.
But quite a bit of channels, so it's like you've got to have like somebody to be able to like look in and see just what's going on, even if it's like a channel they wouldn't normally find themselves in, sort of thing. Just to make sure like everything's, I guess, going all right, and you have the requisite amount of people to do that, whether you do that or not. I don't know. I think it's fairly moderated in the Discord, and I haven't really had any issues that I can see. As to like the whole Facebook moderation, like I think you should be able to talk shit on Facebook too, but that's why I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, like there should be obviously limits to the kind of shit you can talk, similar, if not identical, to the kind that there are here. But like, I don't want to be nice to everybody all the time. It's like, and I could say nothing, but it's like, no, I want to be a jerk.
I want to get blocked tonight.
Yeah, it's like
I hit my quota.
It's hard.
I've never argued like a ton in the Facebook group. Mostly I would just go in for Donnie because he was easy. But I like just get a few more mods and let people talk some shit, and then just monitor the shit talk, and then delete it if it's
Gets
no
over
good.
the line, Yeah.
But I do like people like being able to do it, and I like people being able to like well, this is gonna sound a little bit like wishy-washy of me, but like I think there's some merit to some sort of like communal price copying, but I also think that it is somebody's stuff, and whether they're a piece of shit, they can still sell it for whatever they want.
Yeah. I mean, like, when it comes to price copying, people should just kind of like, I mean, at least in the Discord, because that's where we spend most of our time.
Yeah.
As far as people in here, like, you
rule
should
of thumb
feel
is
safe to say what you think, and it's just like, I get that you kind of want to avoid starting shit, but if you're really thinking it, just let it, just say it instead of letting it stew within you.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree with that, which is why I'm glad Trash City exists, and the other verified chats, and yeah, it's pretty much where I stand on that. I think a lot of price copying is mitigated or like prevented, I guess, because I don't know, it's like self-regulatory. People see what things sell for. People will ask what things sell for. More often than not. Every once in a while, you get somebody who posts something for a larger amount, and then usually it doesn't really devolve too much unless it's somebody who sees that as kind of a virtue, or somebody being purposefully antagonistic, in which case you can usually tell who those people are.
I mean, I think it is like, it's your stuff. You do what you want with it, but at the same time, it's also, it's everyone else's community too, and people have visions for what they want to see for their community, and I think people have that right as well to sort of express that, and try to help protect what they care about in some ways. And some people will be bummed if they bought something at a high price, or they've seen other stuff sold at a high price, so they want to, but I think a lot of the idea is to keep that down. So ideally, no one really has to suffer that in the first place. And then it's, just ends up being a little more wholesome for everybody. So you don't get to that point where people are like, but this person did this, or I had to buy this for this. So like, I have to sell it for that now. If you kind of like, cut it off before it gets to that point, I think it, I would think most people are going to be happier not having to pay a lot for things generally, and you kind of get what you put in that regard.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. Kind of starving the audience, or starving the person of the audience they wish to sell to is a good thing. It works the same way that like Ozeki got like yeeted out of the main, because it's like, oh, he's just going in using this place for his dastardly
Yeah.
schemes. And so yeah, now he's gone, and it's like, yeah, you can't scalp to like our community sort of thing. But it also, I think, a good way of combating scalping is just like, leading by example a lot of times. Like,
For sure.
if you're selling something, sell it for a good price, and then other people will see the kind of like the good that comes from that, and then they'll want that for themselves, and so they'll continue to do it.
I think Frank said it pretty well just in chat now.
Oh,
Scalpers who take advantage of other people's lack of knowledge, example, things you'd only know if you are in a secret group, absolutely should be called out. And
oh yeah.
I feel like people are scared to do that, especially on Facebook, but probably in the Discord as well to a degree.
Well, it makes sense on Facebook because there's the rule, if you don't like it, keep scrolling, and
yeah.
And while that is very loosely enforced rule, like it's still a massive deterrent to like what a lot of people would possibly say in a situation like that. Like, yes, they can sell for whatever they want, but I agree with Frank. They should be, like at least brought to their attention to give themselves a chance to make it right before they start getting shit on.
But sometimes they know what they're doing in that instance. But
oh yeah,
my rule of thumb is if you're allowed to scalp, then everybody should be allowed to talk shit.
Yeah.
It's like a give and take relationship. There would be no talking shit if there was no scalping.
Yeah.
So they're harmonious. So if you're a mod and you're gonna let shit talking, you gotta let shit talking for the scalpers. And then if they can fend it off, like, because why are you scalping in the main? Because you're publicly doing it. Like, you could go on eBay, easily get more money, but like, it's kind of like a masochistic thing for like scalpers to go into the main.
yeah.
I feel like a couple of them do it on purpose, honestly. And then all their friends just comment in the comments under it.
Great price.
Yeah.
Great price.
I've gotten caught up in that one time, and it was a weird feeling. I had to kind of.
Real quick, Percy, we got a lot of people in our waiting room, and I'm gonna try getting as many people as we can tonight. So.
Absolutely, go ahead.
Do you
and,
have any last thoughts you want to say before I move you out?
I had someone I was going to follow up with on what Pico said, but no, you guys are great. I am really enjoying this circle jerk, and I will.
Thank you, Percy.
Especially jerky tonight.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna bring in two people. Let's get Cody. Let's get Oofy's on as well. I have to imagine it might be a little late. Let's bring in two of our members here. Hello, Oofy. Hello, Cody.
Hey.
Yo.
We've been talking about moderation. We've been talking about Facebook. Is there any thoughts that have been on your mind between the two that you kind of just want to talk about or have an open discussion about? Either one.
Nah, to be honest, I've been kind of spacing out. It's nearly 5 a.m., so I've just got you in the background, hearing your thoughts.
Well, I'm glad we have you on it finally. Or did we have you before?
I've been on, but I didn't have a mic. I've trolled you once or twice.
Well, we finally got you. Oofy voice reveal.
The people have been asking for it, and they got it.
All right then. Well, Cody, do you have anywhere you want to take us tonight?
I guess I thought Percy really hit it on the head there with any of the concerns with like Maine, but in contrast to like the Facebook, or in contrast to like the Discord.
Discord.
I guess I've always kind of felt like the main is the parent, and the Discord is like kind of like the rebel teen that's like, oh yeah, they seem really cool, and it's like, and they are cool, but like there's also a lot of like some things can kind of fester, I think, maybe a little bit more than some people would want to,
Yeah.
and can definitely be overwhelming to someone, you know, just kind of crossing over, whether it be from the Facebook or some other, you know, kind of division. And it'd be cool if I feel like it'd be cool if there was some synergy between the two, but I know that's easier said than done, you know, and also it's like two vastly different.
Yeah. I think Pico's talked
I actually
about
a lot of communication with the main.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talk all the time. Me and Josh are actually pretty good friends, and I actually talk to Alexis a lot. Like when we have issues with Trash City, I'll DM them and be like, "Hey, we're probably gonna do this."
Yeah, for sure. I guess what I meant by that was more like more just something for like, you know, like someone who can kind of like casually just kind of like there could be a bridge that like anyone could just be like, you know, like, oh cool, yeah, I definitely want to like hang out in here, rather than like, whoa, there might be like some, you know, teething troubles, I guess, or, you know, kind of going from one to the other. But
I
yeah,
mean, I feel like
yeah, go ahead.
if you join on the wrong day of the Discord, you know, you could be very easily put off from it, like just immediately, and never go back. Like there's some days I look at it, I'm like, wow, if I came into this, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on here?
And I think there's something we don't talk about, and that's like, so this scene has a lot of like, you know who each other is by name, and on Facebook you know immediately who that person is. You join the Discord, you're trying to connect names to people all over the place, and that can also be daunting. And then you're like, oh, I've been talking to this person on Facebook for like months, I didn't know they were even in the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
I got catfished on the Discord.
It really is like its own like beast, and it's so cool. And I don't mean to be like or I'm not even trying to like have any like criticism with that, just more of like an observation.
Go for it. Criticize.
I think that's
that shit I like.
As well, honestly.
That's where my thoughts begin and end on it. So
I'll be honest, I don't think the Facebook and Discord can ever have like a parity, if it makes sense. They're always going to be inherently different. Because like here in Discord, when you share something, I feel like it's got meaning behind it. Like, hey guys, check out this cool thing. In Facebook, it feels a lot of times posts are meaningless. It's more just to show you're still active, to get noticed.
Absolutely.
With whatever that may bring.
Do you think it's more artificial on Facebook?
Oh yeah, definitely.
100%.
That is another dynamic we haven't talked about too much, and maybe we'll, you know, veer away from it or not. But it is certainly like, I feel the same way. That's why I don't really post on Facebook anymore, because I'm just like, what am I really even saying here? Or like, why am I saying this? Or like, why? I mean, I'm not. Am I even gonna make the effort to make an entire post on the wall that can then be like commented on like as its own like thread? It's just like, I don't want to do all that, you know. Like, that's too much.
We got another first-time chat viewer saying something that I think puts it pretty well. It's the Facebook group feels more performative, if that makes any sense. I think that makes a lot of sense for most people.
And this is largely like a culture difference between the two platforms. And like you were saying before, I think Atrix is like, or maybe it's LXG. It's been around for so much longer, so it's more established as like, you know, for the reasons it is established, you know, and sort of what it leads to and why people are there in the first place. And I think that makes a big difference, and not for one being for better or for worse, but you do, like Uvi was saying, you feel the difference between them pretty palpably once you spend a lot of time in both.
I honestly think demographics are different when it comes to just age. I think Discord is seemed as like a young platform that like a lot of older members, and which is weird because the video game community has older members. Like there's a whole age group of like 35 to 45-year-old dudes.
I mean, we saw NP join and be like, "I'm too old for this. Someone explain it." And he
NP
eventually got
thrived,
it.
man.
Yeah.
He thrived here.
Is 35 old?
But so I think you find like a lot of older members on the Facebook than you would find here.
Chat's showing their age.
Another thing that Discord has like going for it, it's kind of detached because it's anonymous in a way.
Yeah.
Like as Pico said, you're free to talk about stuff in here, but it's also about the aspect that you don't have a name tied to you. On Facebook, you might be more apprehensive on calling stuff out or voicing an opinion because it's you, it's your real face, it's your real profile icon, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like that is a double-edged sword, though, especially like, I think this is good that the mod team does not like actively, like, you all have to have verification of a Facebook account and who a person is before they get into the verified channels, but you're not sharing that with everyone, like, unless there's someone doing like something really awful, but you usually would take care of that behind the scenes and not like in a open channel. But like if you're having an argument with someone and you don't know who they are and they're just being very negative and talking a lot of shit, then that can be a problem, because that could be the only thing they come into the server to do, is just to punch down on people.
Yeah.
Well, more so than that, like everything was built around the notion of boot labels, you know, and secrecy. So we didn't want to have a verified channel where we couldn't explain to a booter what happened. Like, this profile, who we have no clue who it is, said this and leaked this. So at least we know who you are. So like if something were to happen, we were like, yeah, this dude did this. Here's his Facebook profile.
There is such a big aspect of that within this.
The original verification was literally just tell me who you are. Just send me your Facebook profile. You're in. No questions asked.
Yeah, that's all I got to get verified.
Now we ask for your address and your social.
Your
other
height,
name.
your weight, if
Yeah,
you're susceptible to any diseases.
Be glad you guys are already in. If you are, it's gotten a lot tougher.
No, I think we just ask that you're active and be real.
Yeah. No address necessary.
And have a Facebook. I don't know. I don't trust anybody that doesn't have a Facebook.
With how integrated Facebook is into the hobby, yeah, it makes things a little difficult.
I also wonder, I've never been banned, like, I've never been zucked on Facebook. Does that, like, are you, like, not able to see Facebook at all? Or are you just, like, not able, you're able to look at posts but not comment or interact with them?
Yeah, everything's grayed out, like, for, like, liking and commenting.
Oh, okay, so you can still read everything, you just can't comment yourself.
Yeah, have you ever seen a post that had commenting turned off and there was only one like button right in the middle? That's basically what everything looks like.
When you get zucked, okay.
Yeah. I've been shadow banned from the main like eight or 9 times.
All right.
Do we want to get in a few more guests before we?
Thank you, Goofy. Thank you,
let
Cody,
ourselves
for
go.
joining us
Yeah,
tonight.
thank you both.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for staying up.
Yeah.
See y'all.
Right. Lethos. Let's bring in Lethos. Let's bring in. Got 2 new friends in here.
You may be on mute.
Hi.
Hell.
Hello.
Guys. So, I've obviously been asking people that come in here, like, what have your thoughts been on, like, moderation between Discord, Facebook? If there's anything you could change, what would it be? Or is there anything that's just been on your mind as we've talked about it?
I was gonna let Lethos go first, but I'll I feel like you guys touched on it, but I feel like everyone is like really, really fake on Facebook because they want that little icon next to their name that says they're active. So, but you get a lot more genuine people here in the server because by the time they get like verified, they've either waited so long or just been around and been active enough in here to kind of know what people are doing in here to kind of be themselves rather than have to make the effort to make a post on someone else's post or make their own to then be reviewed by someone to then be like, okay, now you can do it.
Yeah, I feel that way for sure. Like you get to be yourself in here and just you kind of talk about whatever you're thinking as opposed to that performative nature of Facebook. And sort of like we were talking about earlier, when it can be hard to know what to comment when everyone's kind of saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm like the worst person at Star Fox ever.
Still playing? I had it grayed out. I have Pikmin.
Oh,
playing.
Good, because it's not doing
we're
too
bringing
good.
back Star Fox. Okay. Lethos, I haven't heard from you. Are we having technical issues or Mike? Is your mic working?
I don't know.
Like Lethos is having a little trouble.
We could bring in our last guest for
let's
now.
bring in-
Our last
I'm so-
couple guests.
Lethos, come in next week. You'll be the first on. Get our friend. Is your mic working? Do we got another friend?
I'm here. My mic works.
All right, we are going. Hey Kenny,
What's up?
you've heard my spiel. What do you think's going on? What do you got thoughts on this?
I want to know some criticisms of the Discord and anything that you don't feel good about. If
Yeah,
there
where
is
are my
anything.
shit talkers at?
Kenny,
I mean,
want you to
overall, I
shit
feel. I'm not a huge fan of shit talking, but I think overall, I'm really a fan of big fan of the Discord over
the Facebook.
Sorry, I
Oh.
muted the wrong thing here on Twitch.
I was like,
I was like hearing myself echo, and I was like really distracting. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
So I'm a much bigger fan of how the Discord works in general than the Facebook. I think I agree with a lot of the people that feel like the Facebook is kind of fake, and I think someone in the chat said performative, and I thought that was a good word for it.
Yeah.
The Discord, I think, if you wanted to levy a criticism, people can get, maybe a little clicky, but I don't think it's the same way that it's like clicky on the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Like the Facebook group is very like, if someone in the clique says something, everybody else has got to cheerlead it. And like in the Discord, it's just kind of like people naturally gravitating towards, kind of how they feel about stuff. Yeah. So, and it just naturally lends itself to me to participate more on here than on Facebook, because like Facebook just kind of sucks for having good conversations, whereas I participate on here because I want to.
Oddly in some way, I think, in my perspective, that kind of has to do with how they're like posting in Discord feels like there's a little less weight to it, because like I was saying before, like you're not making a big post on the wall that like is going to become its own thread every single time. Like you can just kind of say what you're saying, and at least me personally, I don't need that same validation, or like my monkey brain seek like that same validation from just like some random throwaway comment on Discord.
You don't gotta find likes on.
Yeah,
well, actually,
but
you get reacts. So actually,
paradoxically though, in some way that makes it feel like kind of more compelling and engaging, because it doesn't feel like everything is meant to be like profound or meaningful. You can just kind of like talk casually. That's kind of I think how that ties in there for me.
Absolutely. You know, it's like much more just like you could chime in when you feel like you have something to say and you don't. And it feels like, you know, I was on the Discord well before I was on the main. I think if anybody remembers, I
Okay.
thought that the main worked like a secret group, so I didn't join because I was like, didn't want to piss anyone off that I was asking to be in the group and all that. And everybody was like, no, you
That's so
totally got the
neat.
wrong idea. I
Like,
was like,
so,
okay.
I feel like so many people came from Maine to hear.
No, I
So
found
that's an
this through the
interesting
Reddit.
thing. Yeah. All right, everyone,
I
go
was here
post on the
for
Reddit thread. In our, is the Reddit private? Do you have to be a
I don't
no,
private?
think
it's
so.
Okay.
just kind of
No.
I might be thinking of a
quiet.
different Reddit that existed like 2 years ago.
No, I don't
Uh,
think it's private.
There was like a
leaking.
bootleg Reddit, like a specific bootleg Reddit.
Yeah, that was a private group, the VGM bootleg group, vinyl.
That one was fucking dumb.
There was basically nothing.
Yeah.
I
So you
I guess that opens up another question of like, would there be any interest in using the Reddit actually?
No.
Right, because I feel like that would
Not
be a
really.
big partition between Facebook and then Discord and then Reddit. But at the same time, I'm wondering who all out there is only working on Reddit and doesn't know about Facebook. That's
So
kind of
I
like my question.
I think John came from the Reddit.
Right,
A bunch
John
of people
came from the Reddit. I
I
came
also
from the
came
Reddit.
from the Reddit.
I came from the Reddit too.
So
You know, I
we're
only found out about the
That
main from
surprises me.
here.
we're all saying I don't want to use the Reddit. Makes sense. But you look at the name of this Discord and it starts with an r/.
Yeah.
This is a
Yeah.
Discord
I think
Reddit.
it's so funny.
I don't use Reddit at all. I found it
I
while I
hardly
was
do
doing
either.
found it while I was doing like a Discogs dive on like things I found on Instagram. And I was like, oh shit, there's a Discord. I fucking hate using Discord. And then I was like, well, now I'm here, so I may as well try, because I think I got verified in like 2 days, but I wasn't
That's a
in any of
record.
the Facebook groups.
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, here's my Facebook. I think I said I literally don't use it. Sorry. And they were like, yeah, cool.
Someone commented too that there are people who are only on, Instagram theoretically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Probably a decent number of them as well. And that's a whole other can of worms. I can't imagine trying to follow this hobby from Instagram. That sounds like a nightmare.
Everyone go advertise the Discord on your Instagram stories. Go post on the
Yeah.
Reddit. I want everyone to show off as much as they can over there.
Oh, now I'm not a frequent Instagrammer, but now I'm gonna start tagging my posts with
Yeah.
VGM for all. So
Thank you.
You all were asking like where are the haters at?
Where are they?
They're not like dedicated really, as far as I can
Yeah.
tell.
It
I
takes a
have
lot to hate on a live discussion as opposed to a forum where you don't have your name attached to it.
Well, I was gonna read one of the comments
Yes.
because all
Yes, read some hate comments.
All right, so I just want to see how you all respond to. So someone has said, I think there are individuals who are clear favorites by the admin team and who are able to bend the rules and get away with murder with no pushback, while others are blatantly and openly disliked by the admin team. How do you all feel about someone saying that? Do you feel like, I mean, you're human, so you have people who you like more than other people in the Discord, but how do you feel about someone suggesting that the way you moderate has something to do with favoritism?
Literally, as staff, I have 0 favorites. I pretty much hate everybody equally. And like I said, unless you're being homophobic, unless you're being racist, or unless you're breaking a boot rule, I ain't doing shit.
I want everyone to know. A lot of the staff, it's always like, hey, what about this? And then Pico's saying, not breaking a rule. So
I come in and like shut the modding down. People are like, I'm gonna mod this, and I'm like, nah.
Yeah. So there's always a conversation, and we're always working towards trying to make like the best environment as far as we can make. So it's things aren't unheard, is I guess what I'm trying to say. And things are noted too.
From the outside, I don't think I've noticed anyone specifically being like the rules are being bent for them. Like I can't name anything in particular except for Tyler Walter just being a scumbag because he's Pico's favorite.
I think a lot of people are referring to the marketplace, I want to say, with that question, and in regards to like why do some people get ragged on and some people don't when they're like clearly scalping in the marketplace, which
Yeah.
like that's how I'm reading it at least. But with that is like the staff literally can't be on top of like every price and like speak up about like everything. I think we just want to create an environment where like everybody feels safe to do that.
And for the most part, you all don't actually like. I've never seen you all like ask someone to take an item down because of the price. Like it's usually market discussion that
I don't even look at the marketplace.
that has that conversation, and that's people conversing. Like you said, if people are allowed to scalp, people should be allowed to shit talk. And so,
Absolutely.
I just
we
realized
we have people who put high price items
Mhm.
on the market, and like if there's going to be a discussion, it's going to be a discussion between I think members and not the admin team.
Right.
Yeah, I
And
think it's
that's what we
I
want
think
to
it's
see.
appropriate. Yeah, I think it's appropriate for the community to decide that, and I think generally we trend towards, avoiding things going on the higher side. But I personally don't want to be the arbiter of like, what can and can't be priced at what prices, because it's not my thing to sell, and I didn't make it in the first place. So it's like, I personally wouldn't want to take that upon myself, really.
And
Or
you can't
go ahead and
really
say something. That's
you
hit them
can't
with a why you scalp and react. You know,
Mhm.
Yeah.
stop hitting John with those.
And you can't really control non-members having favorites, or not non-at mod teams having favorites, like just like regular members of the Discord. Like, yeah, everyone's gonna have people they like more than other people in the Discord. It's just
Part of being a person.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
the
You
admin
best
team
believe
has
I
to
don't care
be
how cool you
very
are.
cogent
You say
about
some
it.
homophobic shit, you're out.
It
Boom.
always goes back to
Booted.
a lot of the issues are people issues, not so much a scene issue or Discord or even Facebook issue. It's just how people are.
Yeah, I feel like it came up earlier with the mention of dogpiling, but it's like people in Maine seem to think that it's like a terrible thing in Trash City, but it's really just a person problem. It has nothing to do with like the mentality of Trash City. Because there sometimes are people that just talk about like, oh, I don't see it that way, and it just kind of goes, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. It's like, oh, all right.
But it's like people like to trash their dogpile. It's, people like to
Dogpile
complain.
dogpiling, you know what I'm saying? Just
Got him.
goodbye.
I would say that's part of the strength, though, of how the Discord works is that, like, you guys are saying I can't monitor every single thing that's being sold, but like everybody notices this stuff. So, like, if you're doing something that a majority of people are going to frown upon, like, it kind of comes with its own weight. Like, your actions are going to have, every action has a reaction. So, like, if you're out on the marketplace, like, people notice everything. So, I've probably done stuff that people are, and it just feel like everybody's kind of always watching. I feel like a lot of us are pretty clear about who we are on Facebook, even if it's not advertised in our names. So
It's weird talking to someone in the
keeps you in
verified
check.
channel who I don't know who it is. It's a yellow name, and I'm like, I've never even seen you in here.
Yeah.
It's like I don't even know if I like what to say to you right now. Once you know everyone on like a first name basis, even by their username, it's always surprising to see a new one or someone changes their name and profile picture.
Oh my
Danger.
god. Yeah.
Big danger.
That's why you got to right click and add a note just so you know who's who.
I feel like that's cowardly. I feel like you
Live in
gotta
the chaos.
yeah.
I
rely on your
used to do
deductive
that, and now I'm
ability.
just like, oh man, I didn't update this person. I don't know who this is.
That's
All
what I
my
do.
notes
I
are on my
just
Star
add that
Sand
note.
account, and I don't even use it, so I have no idea who anybody is.
The only note I've ever added is that Paul is a frog and not an Xbox controller.
the most important note to have.
It's
Good
very
to know,
important.
actually.
So we're at that hour and 20-minute mark.
Oof.
Yeah, so might want to start wrapping things up a little bit.
We obviously didn't go over every answer in detail because there were quite a few, but
Were there any answers out on the host team? Are there any answers that struck you all that you all want to discuss?
I keep there's so many, so it's like hard to look, but
just
there
any
I've
was
been trying to talk around them generally
Mhm.
and like sort of integrate them into what I'm trying to answer, even if not by directly responding to like having read them out. Just sort of in my perspective of how I'm answering things. I would generally say, thank you to everyone who answered, and I think it's really helpful. It's really helpful to be able to see that information, and we certainly don't
especially
just want
how genuine some of these were.
yeah, like
it was really
negative shit
appreciated.
really helps quite a bit, and we hope to
We
continue.
get how circle jerky things can be. So like, if you
Circle
want us to
suck.
take care of that, then just be genuine.
Feel thoroughly jerked, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Thoroughly
Everyone
circle
gets theirs.
sucked.
People said a lot of nice shit and a lot of mean shit, and that's what I'm about.
There was
Like,
one.
Go ahead, Alex.
I was gonna say this is a pretty easy kind of like yes or no short answer sort of thing, but someone mentioned what are your thoughts about the Facebook group? Someone mentioned there should really only be two people who release embargoes. Frank and Josh Tyler Ford. That's it. Everything else is stupid clout that separates the haves from the have-nots. Do you all think that there should be some sort of like I don't know, because that does get a lot of the ire
Embargo
going
stuff.
from like the people who post like night of the embargo. Like I feel like that
like designated
that's a good
embargo.
thing to consider.
That'd be fun.
Like someone that way it's not someone just trying to
It's safe,
to
but
get
at the
good
same
points.
time, it's just kind of like, I mean, as far as Facebook would go, yeah. It's a matter of how do you know who's who, because I feel like a lot of this
Mhm.
stuff happens on like Instagram.
Yeah.
And Facebook. So I like the idea, but at the same time, I don't know.
I don't feel like in the Discord
You'll
things are
never.
like
No.
released first. Like it's very, very infrequently Discord's the first place something is posted, if ever, maybe. So that'd be a kind of hard thing to I think like sort of try to implement on our side.
Mhm.
But I think we've talked about this to some extent before too. Like, how it relates to flexing, and should people do this, and whether or not at the end of the day it's just like a feature of the hobby that people enjoy. And I think that's kind of it. It's hard to and to put that burden onto one person to always have to be the person who
Right.
posts shit. It's like that doesn't necessarily sound fun if that's not what you want to do.
Wait, is Frank still? Yeah.
Yeah.
Frank, would you ever want to be a dedicated embargo breaker if you're still there?
Might as get his take on it.
Wait, he's there.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. A dedicated embargo breaker? No, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
the man spoken. Question answered.
That's a smart answer.
Honestly, we all know
on the
who's the man
spot.
for that job. And he does it anyways.
Well, with that, I think probably a good place to end for the night, huh?
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
That's what I
Thanks
mean.
for having me.